Hey everybody, it's Keaton again. Just wanted to say the giveaway on Sunday went super well. I appreciate everybody that showed up for the live stream. But I have a interesting video here. Plates of peppers. All these peppers that I just picked recently. Tangerine Tony Sherwoods. I showed you the Dragon's Breath crossed with what I think was ahi lemon drop or some kind of ahi. And then of course a plate of chocolate primatalis. I'm not gonna be eating all of these in one video, but I just wanted to kind of go through and show you what to expect from the peppers that I'm sending everybody in seeds. Repping my Red Wings jersey. It's hockey season, starting up again. I know June, Stanley Cup playoffs were just here, but so red naga brain. This is essentially the phenotype that I hope everybody gets if you get these in your seed packs. That was one. That's another. This is an unstable cross that I had purchased actually over the winter from Atomic Pepper Seeds, and he's actually another person here in Nebraska. I don't know if he watches or follows, but he is on Instagram and I follow him. So that's the red naga brain. Kind of like a bumpy, rigid, gnarly looking pod. Pretty good heat. But today I'm gonna be doing this chocolate primatali and this 7 Pot Primo. And we're gonna kind of compare the two. And I picked this on the live stream on Sunday. For those of you that watched, you'll remember. I'm gonna show off a couple more phenotypes of the Tangerine Tony Sherwood now though. So if you get Tangerine Tony Sherwoods, you can expect pods shaped like all these I'm about to show you. Some longer and rigid like that, and then some with more pronounced stingers / tails on them. But for the most part, this is the shape and size, roughly. Some of them kind of sporadic looking like that. And then some of them more elongated with almost a pronounced tail. For the most part, I'm noticing though, the shape on these is like a triangle, a roughly shaped triangle on the bottom, unless they have a stinger and they're like, this one's kind of still triangular shape, but some of them are rounder or more squared off. Like this one's almost along those lines, but for the most part, I'm noticing that they're triangular shaped, but a couple of them I have more of a square shape here. So expect to get somewhere around Scotch bonnet or habanero heat from these. Some of them are kind of rogue when it comes to the heat. Some of them go up like 500 or 600, 700,000 maybe. They're take you and knock you back in your chair if you're not prepared for it, you know. And then, like I showed off, a lot of the red naga brains. If you get chocolate primatali seeds from me, you're probably gonna get a lot of stuff kind of that shape. That's one of the better looking phenotypes to this chocolate primatalis that I've grown. And then like the one that I'm gonna eat today, kind of more like that. Some of them have a bumpier skin and they're not necessarily as pronounced. Like this one's a little bumpier, but they don't have as pronounced of a stinger like it wanted to, but it didn't quite. And these are the ones that I'm currently growing. The ones Clayton sent, I don't know if you saw my pepper unboxing. I'm assuming all of them from the pepper unboxing, it was like number 4. So if you haven't seen that video where I unboxed a lot of pepper seeds, or peppers, the pods themselves from Clayton Hollingsworth, go check that out if you want to know what his chocolate primatalis are probably going to look like. He sent 2 and they both had the same like smooth shape and skin like this. So that's what my best guess would be. But some of mine, maybe I'll include if you ask for chocolate Primatali seeds, I'll include Clayton's, and then I'll also include some of mine. But I have some that have just grown massive as far as shape and size, like 2 fingers almost, 2 fingers width and length. So that's pretty decent size, and it's pretty smooth. I mean, some of them kind of have a little bumpier feel to them. Like this is another one that's kind of more bumpy. And I don't believe that this is a stable pod regardless, but I will say a lot of my pods look like this. It's just some of them had a more bumpy, rigid skin. But as far as this video goes, I'm gonna compare the two here, the 7 Pot Primo to this chocolate Primatali, and we're gonna see which one I think is hotter. This one's a little smaller. I tried to pick a close to same size chocolate Primatali pod, but shout out to all my subscribers, all the people that have liked, commented, shared my videos. I really appreciate all the support that you guys have given, and I hope to keep making content you enjoy. So let me cut these open here, and I'll see if I can cut this through the stinger pretty well. Like I said, this is one I picked on Sunday. It was much greener than this, but it's certainly turned red pretty well. Let's see. Pretty good. Definitely no expert at cutting pods open, but I'm getting better. And this one kind of broke in half, but I mean, for the size of the pod, that's some pretty decent seeds. Let's see. You kind of see the back in there. I've had a lot of my peppers kind of attacked recently by some kind of bug out there that's trying to eat through them. But these chocolate Primatalis have been inside in the grow tent, so should be perfectly fine. I had so many, I just finally had to pick them. So, I mean, I get roughly, I don't know, 30 or so. That plate, let me show the plate with the other ones I kind of showed. I get roughly this many, I don't know, every 2 to 3 weeks, it seems. I know I'm using a paper plate again, and somebody said I shouldn't, but it's just kind of easier to do that than clean dishes sometimes, just because it gets super tedious to try and get pepper oil off of a plate. But that is the chocolate Primatali, and if you can tell, all of my peppers have been glistening with a ton of capsaicin. And I don't want to preemptively judge what's going to be hotter, but man, just because of all that oil, I'm kind of thinking the chocolate Primatali. But maybe I will start with this, and we'll see if it ramps up and gets hotter. Obviously, a bigger pod would be more heat, but let me go ahead and get this down. Thanks for watching, everybody. And that 7 Pot Primo for sure is hotter than most of the peppers I've eaten recently. Aside from some chocolate Primatalis here and there off camera to keep tolerance and whatnot. Really good flavor. That's one of the first ones that's been decent size and great shape for me since I have grown them and picked them this year. I've only had like 4 other ones until now. I just posted a picture on Instagram of a couple more coming in that are really nice looking. I'm gonna post a picture, sorry, if it hasn't been posted yet. Flavor, pretty sweet, actually. An undertone of sweetness, no bitterness. Heat level is kind of rising, It's more concentrated on my mouth right now than my throat. Kind of the back of my tongue. Creeping to the front. Really good pod. If I had to compare it to another flavored pepper pod, man, the RB003 was really sweet. That was pretty sweet too. That was kind of similar to that. Different genetics, of course. Obviously, there's controversy between Pot Primo and the parent peppers of the RB003, but we won't get into that. But yeah, we're sitting maybe like a 2 or 3 right now, so it's not really hitting me too hard. But yeah, pleasant flavor, kind of pepper forward and sweet. If I had to compare it to another sweet pod, probably Ghost, actually. Really similar to the sweetness I had from that white Ghost, but not as profound. It was just kind of an undertone of sweetness. Really good flavor though. It's kind of climbing a little bit. We might be sitting at like a 2, hovering 3. It's kind of sticking towards the front of my tongue and the middle of my tongue now. No heat too bad in the back of my throat. So let's get into the chocolate Primatali then. Kind of compare the two. This one kind of broke, but I'll kind of show this one more time on camera. Look at all the capsaicin up there by my thumb. Just glistening. I've had a couple of these pods, when I cut them open, actually leak when I wasn't wearing gloves onto my hands and onto the plate I was cutting them on as I was de-seeding them. That's how flush some of my chocolate Primatalis have been with just like capsaicin oil or water content from inside the pod. It's been insane actually growing them in that grow tent versus my peppers outside. The grow tent, it's crazy what difference it does make when you grow peppers inside in like controlled environment where they can just produce and never have a rise or influx in temperature or decrease in temperature. It's been a awesome experience since I've had it, and like I said, I got it just recently in March this year, and I've really kind of went more all out than I have in the previous year growing stuff. But let me get into this chocolate Primatali now. Big pod, or just bursted with flavor in my mouth. Almost a bitter, but not too bitter. The aftertaste hasn't been bad for these two at all, which, I mean, sometimes it's kind of a crapshoot when you get peppers that are super hot, whether they're gonna be, you know, the capsaicin oil is gonna be super debilitating on your throat or your mouth. But right now, it's actually, I mean, surprisingly, between the two, so far, I want to say the Pot Primo is hotter. Or about the same. And I know that's kind of surprising for a lot of people, maybe. Sorry, nose is starting to run. But not too surprising, because sometimes chocolate Primatali, well, it's starting to ramp up a little bit. Maybe I misspoke a little too soon. Kind of starting to bite a little bit more. Heat right now, I'm probably sitting at like a 3, almost 4. flavor on that, man, I was leaning towards bitter, but it almost kind of surprised me with like an earthy taste rather. It was almost like a neutral flavor, a little bit of a nutty flavor maybe on that one. Kind of surprised with how that pod turned out. But yeah, both of them have given off decent heat here. Pleasantly surprised. All my chocolate primatalis that I've eaten from my grow have been really good flavor. They haven't been super bad tasting or anything like that, or too bitter, or leaning towards sour, or, you know, any flavor that may not be presentable to a lot of people or whatnot. I think between the two, it's hard. I think the chocolate Primatali may have took the cake on this one, just because that 7 Pot Primo started off kind of milder and it was a little smaller. So I'll have to get one of my bigger ones that's out there growing currently and see if I can compare them to a bigger or about the same size chocolate Primatali. But the chocolate Primatali is kind of burning my throat a little bit more. My throat and the tip of my tongue. It's not overwhelming or overbearing, but definitely a strong pod. Both of these, if you are a beginner in the community or looking to get your hands on some hot stuff but not too hot, these are definitely out of your league. Take, you know, a normal heat pepper like a ghost pepper. I would definitely say test your water with that first, but really great flavor. Chocolate Primatalis that I'm growing, they seem to burn a little bit longer than some of my red pods that I eat or grow or get from other people. Still, it's hovering, maybe it peaked about 30 seconds ago. That one probably took me to like a 3.5. I can't say 4, but a little stronger than a 3 maybe. Made my nose run that one time, and I might wipe it one more time here in a second. But yeah, great flavor, great heat. What I think, and if I had a more fair comparison in size pod, I think that the 7 Pot Primo may have been equal to or a little greater. But otherwise, I think that's the chocolate Primatali may have won this one, but not by much. But anyway, so yeah, I just kind of wanted to show off some pods that people are gonna be getting seeds for in the mail who join the live stream. Appreciate everybody's support and liking and following and whatnot, subscribing. I think I'm on the descent down. It's kind of at like a 2 right now, just a mild, mellow burn. But yeah, this was filmed right after work, and I plan to watch a little bit of the Red Wings game that was on against the Blackhawks. But I probably missed most of it, but that's okay. But anyway, I'm gonna go eat dinner now. So thanks for everybody that's watching and following along. This is a lot longer video than I thought it would be, but wanted to show off some stuff. So till next time, thanks everybody.